Welcome everybody. Thank you for joining me for a 1-hour power yoga practice. This class will be uploaded to YouTube right after this practice. So if you'd like to find this class or many other classes there that are free, you can find it under my name, Tamara Maxim. And you can also follow me on Spotify under the name Tamara YVR if you'd like to find some beautiful yoga music to listen to for a lot of different types of yoga classes. Tonight our practice will focus around the joints of the body. And amazingly, our body has 360 joints. And I always think that's really unique because of the idea of mobility in the body. It's really created from the joints and the idea of rotation of 360 degrees. So there's a really unique connection there. Without the 360 joints, we wouldn't have the amount of rotation and mobility and ability that we have in our bodies. So the practice won't be really unique in any way as far as the asanas are concerned. We always do very similar poses in yoga, but I want you to focus your attention on the joints for a number of different reasons. And one is to find mobility. So how can you hold your body in such a way that you can find more space and openness in the joints? And secondly is to use a bit of constriction in some poses to act like a tourniquet, so cutting off circulation and then opening up the flow of blood so there is a flushing out of any tightness or tension in the joints. And thirdly is to focus on the muscles around the joints and how can you strengthen those muscles to support the joints so there isn't a hypermobility. So we want to create flexibility and mobility, but at the same time strength and support. So wrapping your mind around those things as we move into the practice. I always think it's meaningful to find an intention for each practice that I do, as well as a dedication of the energy that I'll be creating in the practice. So I invite you to do the same. Think of a word, a phrase, a mantra, and I'll offer you one here as an intention for the practice. I like to make them random so I can tie it in as we move along. And if you'd like to dedicate your practice, you can think of a person, a place, or a cause to dedicate out this energy to. So this extra, the intention for this evening is tranquility, which is really, I think, one of the main reasons we all do yoga is to feel that sense of tranquility. It might not come during the practice in some forms, especially in power yoga, but you'll definitely feel it at the end, I hope. Tranquility, a quiet place of awareness within that is always accessible, no matter what the circumstances. A gentle, conscious breath can take you to this inner retreat and will reduce the noise of general life in an instant. And I am a firm believer that it is simply one deep breath, one conscious deep breath that will take us out of a place of the sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight system, into the parasympathetic system, which is resting, digesting, and relaxing. So even if you are busy, even if you're active, even if things seem hot and sweaty, which they might over the next hour, you can still focus on your deep breath to help keep you in that space of tranquility and relaxation. And so let's have that as part of our practice here. And focus particularly in this practice on the Ujjayi breath, which is an even more powerful breath and a strong message to your body to relax. So you'll create a slight constriction in the throat and find a breath in and out through your nose, which is a little bit longer and deeper, and it might create an ocean-like sound. Let's start tonight in a nice tall seat. So you can sit like I am now in Virasana or sit cross-legged. And just take a few moments to sit up nice and tall. See if you can elongate the spine. Bring your hands to your heart center. Tune yourself into your intention for your practice. What is it that you're focusing on? Thinking about the idea of mobility of the joints, of strengthening, creating stability. And through our breath and our movement, lubricating the joints, bringing in valuable synovial fluid to keep ourselves in the mobile range, the fluid range. And let's open our practice with one beautiful sound of Om. Take a deep, clearing breath in through your nose. A big sigh out your mouth. Exhale. Inhale for Om. And allow that Om to dissipate out into the space around you, echoing into each corner of the space and even beyond as far as you can imagine. And bring this sense of peace, harmony, tranquility with you through your practice, and know that it's just one deep breath away to come back to this place of peace and stillness. Slowly bow your mind into the beautiful light of your own heart and releasing your palms to your thighs. Bring your gaze back to your center as the eyes open. And we'll meet on our backs. We'll do a little bit of core work, which immediately will bring awareness to the joints. So lying down onto your back, you can give your knees a little squeeze. Drop your left foot to the floor, cross your right thigh on top of your left, and you may stay here, or maybe you can hook your right toes under the left calf. Reach your arms up toward the ceiling, fingertips pointing up, and then wrap your right arm underneath your left arm. Maybe cross at the elbows, possibly at the wrists, so creating Garudasana but lying on the back. And take a moment here and start to lengthen. So as you're wrapping the joints around each other, the big joints of the elbows, maybe the wrists, the knees, possibly the ankles, start to extend forward and back. Take a big inhale, get as long as you can. And then as you exhale, draw the elbows in toward the knees. Lift your head and shoulders up, lift your hips up, draw the belly in. We'll do it again. Inhale to extend, try to hover. Exhale, lift everything up. Let's keep going. Inhale to lower. Exhale, lift it up. Here's number 4. Breathe as you exhale as you come up. And 5. 3 more. 6. 7. And last one, we'll hold, hugging the knees into the elbows. Lift your head and shoulders. Draw the belly in, lift your hips higher for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And release. Give yourself a big stretch. Big inhale through the nose and a big sigh out your mouth. Hug your knees into your chest. We'll go to the other side. So right foot is down. Cross your left thigh over the right thigh. If you can, tuck your left toes under your right calf. Reach your arms up, fingertips pointing towards the ceiling. This time wrap your left arm under your right, maybe cross at the elbows and then at the wrist. So you're wrapping the joints together of the elbows and wrist possibly, and the knees and possibly the ankles. Inhale to extend. Reach your arms over your head, toes pointing to the bottom of your mat. Take a deep breath in. And as you exhale, bring your elbows to the knees, draw the belly in, squeeze together, lift your hips up, head and shoulders up. Inhale to lower. Exhale to come up. Find that Ujjayi breath. 3, 4, going to 8, 5, 6, 7, and last one, we'll hold up here, hugging the knees into the elbows. Lift your head and shoulders higher, lift your hips higher for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release all the way down. Give yourself a release. So now we release any pressure from the joints, let the blood flow come back in, hug the knees in toward the chest, and then start to rock forward and back a few times. Forward and back, forward and back. We'll meet in Navasana, holding in boat pose. You can float your toes if you like. You can hold behind your thighs, lift your knees in toward your chest. Maybe you can extend your toes forward so your shins are parallel, arms reaching forward. And we'll hold here for a count of 10. Maybe extend the legs. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Roll back. Come forward, cross your ankles, press into your hands. Step or hop back, downward dog. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Spread your fingertips wide. Take a look at your hands and immediately thinking about the joints. Instead of compressing into the wrist, can you press all of your finger pads down? Maybe the knuckles pop up just slightly so there's a softness in the knuckles.
Heel of the hands pressing down. There's a little dome under the hand, so there's a little bit less pressure on the wrists. And then draw the eye of your elbows more toward each other. So there's an opening across the shoulder, so we're not compressing the shoulder joints. Bend your knees a lot. Pull your hips back and up. So access more space to lengthen the hips away from your heels. And then start to straighten the legs, pressing the heels down so you get more flexion through the Achilles tendon into the ankle bone. Think of the joints that run from your fingertips all the way to your toes, all 360 of them. How can you create more space? Again, bend the knees, access more space in the hips. Inhale here, and as you exhale, straighten out your legs, press your heels down, flexing the ankles. On your next inhale, come high on your toes, bend your knees a lot, look forward to the top of your mat. Now you can walk, step, or hop, but if you do, press into the finger pads for the hop. So you're very light on the joints as you come forward. Lengthen the spine halfway, look forward, create space around the neck. Exhale, fold and release, forehead toward your shins. Relax the top of your head down. Again, Ardha Uttanasana, halfway lift. So lengthen the crown of the head away from your hips. Exhale, fold forehead to shins. You can always soften your knees to protect the joints. Inhale, rise up, Urdhva Hastasana. Now lengthen the tailbone toward your heels as you arch back. Lift out of the pelvis instead of compressing the lower back. Exhale, hands to your heart center. So again, today this practice focusing on the joints of the body, creating more mobility, more strength around the joints, bringing more fluid into the joints, the synovial fluid. Take an inhale breath, reach up, arch back, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Again, soften your knees if you need. Inhale, lengthen halfway. As you exhale, plant your palms, step your right and left foot back, high plank pose. Draw the belly in, again, press into your finger pads so much that you dome the space between the shoulders, so the center between the shoulder blades lifts up. Take one more inhale, rock forward, crown of the head in line with your tailbone, belly in. Exhale, lower all the way down to your belly. Untuck your toes, press the tops of your feet down. Keep the elbows in to protect the elbow joint. Lift the head and shoulders up. Only coming up as high as it feels good for your lower spine. Exhale to lower. We'll do that 2 more times. Come up higher each time if you like. Elbows tuck back into the body, not out to the side. Exhale to lower. 1 more time. Finger pads pressing down. Lift your heart, and if you like, you can slide forward, lifting the thighs off the mat, tops of the feet down. Really good to stretch the ankle joints. Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. And now come over your toes, come back to high plank from Cobra or Upward Dog. Bend lower your knees if you need. 1 Chaturanga push-up, halfway down. Notice my elbows are brushing the rib cage. Push back up, exhale, Adho Mukha Svanasana. So bringing a lot more awareness into each posture, how we're affecting the joints. And that tourniquet effect, when we cut off circulation from the joints and then release, we get that beautiful blood flow and more synovial fluid into the joints. Take a deep breath in and a long breath out. Come high on your toes, bend your knees a lot, look forward. Again, if you're going to hop, be very light on the hands. Press into the finger pads, don't jam the wrists down. Halfway lift, inhale. Exhale, fold, Uttanasana. Inhale to rise all the way up. That's Surya Namaskar A. We'll do 1 more. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. As you exhale, plant your palms, left and right foot steps back. Uttita Chaturanga Dandasana. Rock forward, press into your finger pads. Exhale, lower halfway to Chaturanga or all the way. Take your back bend, Cobra or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana. Roll over the toes, so move through the joints of the toes. Chaturanga if you like. Elbows brush back. Adho Mukha Svanasana as you exhale. Deep breath in. And a long breath out. Come high on your toes, bend your knees, press into the finger pads more than the wrists. Hop or step forward. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, release. Step your big toes together to touch. Get your hips down. So we're starting now to constrict the joint of the knees, restrict the joint of the hips, and then reach the arms up to the sky, Utkatasana, chair pose. Now to protect your knees, try to draw them back just a little bit. Hug the outer inner thighs toward each other. Sit your hips a little lower. Take another breath in, reach your arms to the sky, draw the belly in and sit lower, draw your knees back. One more inhale breath, lift your chest a little higher, sit your hips a little lower. Inhale here, exhale, lift your hips and fold, forehead to your shin. Inhale, lengthen, try to create a flat back. As you exhale, plant your palms. You can walk, step, or hop back, either high plank, very light, keep the elbows soft, or to chaturanga. Untuck your toes, so flex the tops of your feet down. Open up the front of your ankles, lift your heart. Roll over the toes, good for the joints of the toes, chaturanga. Push back up into the finger pads, Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take a full deep breath in here, and full breath out, and bring awareness to your shoulder joint. So hug the eye of your elbows, the center of your elbows more forward toward the front of your mat. Create space between your shoulders and your neck. You always want to have that in this pose. Inhale your right leg up to the sky, and let's open up that big joint of the hips, biggest joint in the body. Bend your knee, stack your hip, let your foot drop toward the left. You can look underneath your left shoulder for your toes. Take a big breath in and a full breath out. Now straighten out the leg, press out through your heel as you exhale, right knee to right upper arm. Come all the way forward. Press into your finger pads. Inhale all the way back. Exhale, cross to the left. Try to touch, hold, and twist. Inhale, reach all the way back and up. So really good to open the hips here. Bring your knee in toward your chest. Tuck the knee in nice and tight, round the spine. As you exhale, step your right foot inside of your right thumb, back heel down, and rise up. Virabhadrasana 1. Outer right hip pulling back, left thigh forward. Reach your arms to the sky, but knit your lower ribs in. Try to bend that front knee over top of the ankle. Try not to have it forward of the ankle, so keep it protected. Take an inhale here, reach your arms to the sky. As you exhale, bring your hands to your lower back, and let's open up the fingers. Squeeze the fingers tight together, so to create a little constriction there in the joints. Draw the shoulder blades together, so open up the front of the shoulders. As you exhale, bow forward. Let your head come down, so relax the joints of your neck. Reach your arms up and over your head. Outer right hip pulling back, left thigh forward. Chin in toward the chest, nice long neck. Deep breath in, reach your arms up. Deep breath out. Inhale, press into your feet, reach your arms all the way to the sky. And as you exhale, plant your palms down. Try to keep your right leg floating as you hover through chaturanga. Take your back bend, you can always use your knees there. Come back through high plank, keep your elbows brushing the rib cage. Chaturanga if you like. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take a full deep breath in and a full deep breath out. Inhale your left leg up to the sky, stack your hip, bend your knee, drop your foot toward the right side, look underneath your right shoulder for your foot, so really opening up the hip. Front of the hip, hip flexor, deep breath in, deep breath out. Inhale, straighten your legs, square your hip, press out through your heel. As you exhale, bring your knee in toward your left shoulder. Inhale, bring it back up. Exhale, cross your knee to your right shoulder, right upper arm. Inhale, bring your knee back up. As you exhale, bring your knee into your chest. Now press into the finger pads. Dome the upper back. Look forward, stretching through the back of the spine. Exhale, step your left foot inside of your left thumb. Spin your back heel down, reach your arms to the sky, Virabhadrasana 1. So again, we're knitting the lower ribs in, so not to create compression in the lower back. Left knee is over top of the ankle, not forward of the ankle. Outer left hip pulling back, right thigh forward, so you can feel an opening in the front of the right hip. Take an inhale, reach your arms to the sky, bend a little deeper. On your inhale breath, bring your hands to the lower back, and again, we'll focus on the finger joints by switching up the grip and squeezing tight together, so to create some constriction around the joints. Take an inhale to lengthen. Exhale to bow in, and when we release that constriction, that's when we get the flow of synovial fluid into the joints. Pulling your outer left hip back, right thigh forward, crown of the head down, squeezing your hands tight together. Try to close them at the heel of the hands. Deep breath in. Head down, deep breath out. Lift your hands up just a little bit higher. Let the chin come toward the chest, nice long neck. Inhale, press into your feet, rise all the way back up, reach to the sky. As you exhale, plant your palms down, step your left leg back to float, move through the vinyasa. After you come through your back bend, really try to press the tops of your feet all the way down, almost to the ankle. Really open up the front of the foot. Roll back over the toes to stretch through those joints. Chaturanga if you like, elbows brush the rib cage. Adho Mukha Svanasana, downward dog. Take a full deep breath in and a full deep breath out. And then walk your feet in just a little bit closer to your hands. Keep your big toes touching. And let's get more into the hips. So sink your hips right to your heels. Finger pads are spread out wide in front of you. And I want you to take some frog squats. So let's call this the squat. And then we'll come forward into a plank position, but the shoulders are quite rounded as you press into your hands. And back into the squat. So we're flossing through the hips here. Now you can stay like this for a few times, forward and back, or take some light hops. And as you hop up, on the way forward, you're going to bring the weight into your finger pads and kick your bum with your heel. So try that. And on the maybe fourth or fifth try, come all the way forward. Feet between your hands, inhale, lengthen. Exhale to fold. Big toes touching, heels apart, sit down into the chair. And that weight bearing helps to create a lot of strength around the joints and bring in the fluid that we need for that mobility. Hands to heart center, lean forward over your thighs as you exhale. Let's twist to the right. So we're starting to bind here, so cut off a little bit of circulation and getting a little tighter in the hips. Pull your left hip back, left knee back. Tend to your fingertips if you can. Create very strong finger joints here. Look up over your right shoulder. I'm going to create more strength in the hands, so to protect the joints of the hands by creating strong ligaments, tendons, and muscles. Take another deep breath here if you like. Open your wings for one breath. Inhale. Stay for your exhale. Inhale, come back through center, reach your arms to the sky. Float hands to the heart, lean forward, exhale, twist to the left. Pull your right hip and right knee back. Tend your fingertips to create strong joints by strengthening the muscles, tendons, ligaments around the joints. Sit a little deeper, so constrict the flow of energy around your knees and your hips. So when we release, there's that beautiful opening and flushing out. Open your wings, one inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come back through center, reach your arms to the sky. Lift your hips and fold, release. Inhale, lengthen halfway, Ardha Uttanasana. Making your way back to Chaturanga. If you float, again, protect the joints of your hands and your elbows. Point the elbows back onto the finger pads. Take your back bend. Make your way back. Adho Mukha Svanasana. Deep full breath in. Deep full breath out. Inhale, lift your right leg to the sky. Right knee to right upper arm if you want. Bend the elbows. Chaturanga. Maybe you have Kundalini B. Inhale, push back up. Sweep your right leg back. Exhale, cross your right knee to your left upper arm. You can stay. Maybe Chaturanga arms. Lean forward. Variation of Kundalini A. Inhale, sweep it back. Exhale, knee to chest. Again, dome the upper back, press into your finger pads, look forward, step through between your thumbs. Spin your back heel down, find front heel to back arch alignment, and sweep yourself up. Virabhadrasana 2. Extend open through the shoulders and try to keep them relaxed. Create space in the hips, wiggle your front toes more forward so that you have a long distance between your front heel and your back arch, but keep them aligned. Your front knee tracking toward the baby toe to protect the knee. Keep open in the heart. Keep openness across the front of the pelvis. Take a big breath in, bend a little deeper as you exhale. Let's turn the right palm up, left hand down. Viparita Virabhadrasana, exalted warrior. Pull the right arm up and back. Feel free to stay or bend the elbow. Turn your heart open, maybe find half bind or full bind. Wherever you decide to be, anchor through the feet and use that foundation to turn your heart more open. So getting more rotation in the hips. Take a deep breath in, more rotation in the spine, deep breath out. Come back through center. Straighten your leg for your inhale. Bend back in as you exhale. Then bring your right forearm to your right thigh. Reach your left arm up over your ear. Keep your right forearm where it is, or bring your right fingertips tented inside of your right foot or onto a block. Take your top arm, sweep it over your ear. Pinky finger down, thumb up. So get an internal rotation of your shoulder joint. Look underneath your left arm if you can. If that's too much pressure on the joints of the neck, you can look down toward your right foot or straight ahead. Keep hugging the outer right hip joint underneath you. Inner left thigh open, stay here. Or spin your left hand behind you. So back of your hand on your sacrum. Maybe you stay, or maybe you can wiggle the joints of your fingers, top of your right thigh. And maybe you have rotation in the neck. Cervical spine, look up toward the ceiling. Maybe you go for a full bind. Wherever you are, let's take a few more deep breaths. A full bind, right arm under. Maybe you find your fingers or your wrists or a strap. So here we're constricting a lot of the joints of the body. So when we release again, we get that beautiful flow of synovial fluid. Look down toward the mat and bind yourself. Come back to warrior two. And we're going to create some mobility in the hips here. So keep your right foot where it is. On your next inhale, peel your left heel off the mat. Reach your arms to the sky. So there's that rotation of the hips. From the side, forward. Soften your back knee. You can lower it all the way if you need. Get more vertical in the spine and then power up that back leg, rocking your heel forward best you can, right over the toes if possible. And you get a full stretch through the joints of the toes. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, pull your right hip back. Look to your back thumb. Inhale back through center. Twist again in high crescent lunge. Look to the right. One more time. You have to get that mobility in the right hip. Pull it back. As you exhale, extend through your fingers. Stay here or bring the palms together. Start to lean forward over that front thigh. Remember your back knee can be down. Push your right knee joint into your left elbow joint and use that as leverage to turn and twist and look over the shoulder and elbow of your right arm. Stay here. Maybe open your wings. If you have a bind practice, go for the bind. Take a full deep breath in. A full deep breath out. One more in any of these variations. Breathe in and breathe out. Now I want you to press into your feet. Lift yourself off your thigh. Reach up. Take your vinyasa. Remember, protect your elbows. Keep them pushing back. Press into the finger pads to protect your wrists. Press the tops of your feet down right to the ankles. Then roll over the toes. Elbows back for chaturanga. Exhale, downward facing dog. Deep breath in. Press into finger pads. Deep breath out. Inhale, left leg lifts to the sky. Bring your left knee to your left upper arm toward the shoulder. Chaturanga if you like. Kundalini B if you have it. Inhale, push back up. As you exhale, cross to the right upper arm toward the shoulder. Kundalini A if you have it, or chaturanga arms, little modification. Push back up. Sweep the leg back. And then look forward. Bring your knee into your chest. Step all the way through the center of your palms this time. Back heel spins down as you find front heel to back arch alignment. And then rise up. Virabhadrasana 2. Now this is a big hip posture here, so create more space by wiggling your front toes more forward so you can drop the hips straight down in the center. And that gives you the opportunity to lengthen this front thigh, maybe one day parallel to the floor. Knee is tracking directly over the ankle to protect it and toward the baby toe. Arms are extended, opening the chest, and the front of the hips, the pelvis toward the side of your mat. Keep strengthening that back leg, so try not to buckle into the joint of your right knee. Keep it active, both feet pressing down. Take another inhale here, bend a little deeper as you exhale. Flip your left palm up, right hand down. Inhale, reach up and back. Keep your left knee bending. Viparita Virabhadrasana, exalt it. Capture your head with your hand. Turn your heart open, keep bending. Maybe you have a half bind or a full bind. Maybe you can reach your hands behind your heart. Wherever you are, turn your heart open more, so we're getting more spacious through the hips, more spacious through the spine. Take another deep breath in, maybe look up. Deep breath out. Inhale, come back to warrior two. Straighten your leg as you inhale. Exhale, bend. Left forearm to left thigh. Reach your right arm up to the sky and feel the outer left hip tucking under, inner right thigh rolling open. So there's an opening of the hips, one internal, one external. Stay right here, or you can lower your tented fingers inside of your left foot or onto a block. And then sweep your top arm over your ear and rotate that shoulder inward. So pinky finger down, thumb up, and look underneath your arm if you can. If that's too much for your neck, you can always look down. It's really important to protect the joints of your neck. Stay here, or spiral your right hand behind. Bring your right hand to your sacrum, or maybe tuck the fingers around the top of your thigh. You can stay here or go for a full bind. Left arm underneath. Maybe you can find your right wrist with your left fingers. Try to pull that top shoulder back. We're creating more spaciousness in the collarbone, the cervical spine by looking up. If that's too much, you can always look down or to the side. Keep hugging the left hip joint underneath you. Inner right thigh rolling open. Deep breath in. A long breath out. And now let's look back down to the mat and wind yourself. Come all the way back to warrior two. Now it's really important here to keep the front foot stable. As you inhale, hug the inner thighs toward each other and peel your back heel off the mat. So create stability as you turn the hips forward. Soften your back knee. You can always lower it all the way down. Get more vertical. And then straighten out the back leg, rocking your heel more forward. Take an inhale breath here, reach up. Exhale, twist to the left. Pull your left hip back. Inhale, back through center, reach up. Exhale, twist back. One more time. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, twist back. And then hands to the heart. Start to lean forward over your front thigh to hook the right elbow joint over the left knee joint. Tent those fingers. You can look up over your left shoulder and elbow, if that's okay for your neck. You can always look straight ahead or down. If it's available for you, tent your right fingertips, reach your left arm up and get more twist to the joints of the spine. Take a deep breath in, rock your back heel forward. Deep breath out. One more round of breath. Now keep your feet strong. Lift yourself up off your thigh, arms to the sky. Exhale, plant your palms down. Take your vinyasa. Making your way back, elbows point back. Adho Mukha Svanasana, deep breath in. And a long breath out. Deep inhale. Long exhale. Lift your right leg up to the sky. Stack your hip, open it up. And this time as you exhale, sweep your right knee across to your left upper arm. You can stay, you can extend your foot through fallen triangle. Or if you like, hover the leg or even grab your foot and see if you can pull your right foot toward the top right corner of your mat and your left arm. Variation of side plank. Inhale, right leg lifts back and up. Bring your right knee to your left, to your right upper arm. Chaturanga arms, if it's available for you, make sure your elbows are pointing back to protect them. Kundanyasana B, float the legs. Inhale, sweep it back up. Bring your knee forward, underneath your chest. Keep looking forward as you step through in the center. Back heel spins down. Rise up for just a breath, warrior two, front heel to back arch alignment. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Heel toe your back foot in just a little. Hinge forward over your thigh, find Trikonasana. So again, rotating in the hips. Outer right hip tucking under, inner left thigh rolling open. And arms are extending, so create space in the shoulders. Create space in your fingers, spread them wide apart. Take a full deep breath here, and a long exhale. Left hand to your left hip. Soften your front knee. Start to step forward, and you might want to bring a block under your right hand, just for support and more access to the pose. Stack your hips, open them up. Press out through your left heel, so flex your foot, so you feel that flexion in the ankle. Turn your heart open. Press the inner edge of your left foot down more. Reach your top arm up to the sky if you can. You're welcome to stay here or create a little bit of a back bend. Bring your left heel toward your left glute. Wrap your left hand around the top of your foot. You might need to bend your knee into your chest to get the ankle. And then start to kick back and up. So creating more opening in the hips, in the knee, in the ankle. Turn your chest, get your shoulders. If you fall out, it's okay. Get back in. One more breath. And then soften both of your knees enough, especially your standing knee, to bring both hands to the floor, standing L shape. Push into your right hip joint. Pull it back and level the top of your left thigh down. Take an inhale here. Exhale, bow in toward your standing leg. Wrap your right hand behind your right calf, and as you pull up, bring your forehead toward your shin. Lift your left leg higher. Breathe here. Coming into standing splits, Urdhva Prasarita Ekapadasana. Press your left heel higher, crown of the head down more. And slowly start to rise up. Bring your knees in toward each other. Keep your right knee soft. As you stand up, press down into your foot. Bring your left knee bent in toward your chest. Open it up and cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Hands to your heart. We'll get deeper into the hips here as we start to sit back and down. So keep your ankle bones flexed. Press out through your heel, toes curling toward you so your foot is very active, all the joints open. Sit back down into your hips. You can feel this opening into your outer left hip. Stay here or hook the elbow joints underneath the shin bone. If you have Ekapada Galavasana, you're welcome to bring your hands down to the mat. I would hop my right foot back a little bit and then shift the shin bone over top of the shelf of the triceps and press into the finger pads. Stay here or start to hover or float the toes or extend the whole leg. Round the spine, elbows pointing back. Hold for 3, 2, 1. Slowly coming back up. Come all the way up. Bring your knee with you. Reach your arms to the sky. Now we'll do a full wrap of the joints. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, cross your left thigh over top of your right. Maybe hook the toes behind your right calf. Turn your knees and hips forward. Take an inhale. Wrap your left arm under your right. As you exhale, maybe cross at the elbows and then the wrists. And start to sit down into Garudasana. Lift your elbows higher, fingers away from your face. Try to straighten your spine. Sit down deeply, but lift through the crown. Hold here for 3, 2, Ujjayi breath. Find tranquility. Beautiful. Nest your ego. Elbows towards your knees. Hug the joints in nice and tight. Get that constriction, and then we release. Find that flow of synovial fluid through Dakasana. And then step all the way back and open up to the long edge of your mat. Prasarita Padottanasana. I'll just turn forward, but you can stay to the left side of your mat. Open up your fingers wide. Take an inhale here. As you exhale, fold forward and bring your palms underneath your face. You can use blocks. Inhale to lengthen, and as you exhale, let the elbows push back behind you. Press into the hands. Maybe your hands can walk closer to your feet. Push the crown of the head down as the elbows point back. Take an inhale, lengthen here one more time. Nice long spine. Stretch out the vertebrae of the spine. Exhale, fold in and try to get the crown of your head down between your feet. So there's a straight line from the crown of your head to your hips one day. Stacking the joints of the spine, the vertebrae one at a time, one on top of the other. And if this is easy for you, you might consider walking your feet closer together to create more of a stretch. Try to relax your shoulders. If you're going into Shirshasana B, go right ahead. Keep the body light as you lift the legs up, hiking them up toward each other. Couple more breaths here. If you're in Shirshasana, try to come down, hovering your heels down before your toes. So flex the feet a lot, get into the joints. Once you get down, come to a halfway lift, inhale, and then we'll turn our body toward the front of the mat. Lower your back knee down, and let's get even deeper into the hips. Walk your hands on the inside of your front foot. Heel toe your right foot more out to the right and roll onto the outer edge of your right foot, but keep your ankle flexed. So you're creating a lot of stability here in the joints, and flex your toes as well. Come onto your tented fingertips and pull the left thigh toward the mat as you push your chest away at the same time. You can untuck your back toes if that feels better for you, or keep them tucked. Take an inhale here, lengthen. As you exhale, you can walk your fingertips more forward, maybe use blocks. Come down onto your forearms. Forearms can be on blocks if you like. You're welcome to stay here or keep your left forearm or hand down and use your right hand on your inner right knee. And if this creates too much pressure, don't go this far. Push into your knee and see if you can turn and look over your shoulder. So pressure on the knee, pressure on the hips, opening up to the shoulders, twisting the spine, maybe even the cervical spine. There's a lot of joints in action here. Keeping the foot flexed so the ankle. You're welcome to stay like this. We'll come into a thigh stretch, which is really good for the top of the hip. Kick your left heel toward your bum, bend your knee, reach for the outer edge of your foot, and then shift your hips back, and then come forward with your heel close to your bum. Maybe you can come back down onto your forearm, and again you can start to spin your chest open. So you can feel the top of your left thigh stretching with just above the knee pinned down, and that full stretch right into the top of the hip. From the top of the knee to the hip. Deep breath in, full breath out, twist a little deeper. Release carefully, try not to slingshot. Walk your right foot back into center. Take an inhale, lengthen the chest forward and up. And now as you exhale, pull the hips back until your front leg is straight, Ardha Hanumanasana. Feel free to use blocks. The blocks can lift you up higher. Maybe they're underneath your shoulders, or you put blocks under your front thigh. If you want to go deeper, you'll start to walk or slide your right heel more forward, left knee more back, working to your variation of Hanumanasana. So this is a big flexion for the top of the front of the hip and a deep stretch for the front of your left thigh. Take a full breath in, keep your feet active here, and bow over the thigh. Full deep breaths here. So this can be quite intense on the back of the right knee joint. So keep your knee soft if you need. And I hope you're noticing this bringing that little extra level of awareness into your practice. It keeps your mind focused and also brings a deeper element into the practice. And the joints, of course, so important for our mobility. We always want to be aware of all 360 of them. Bring your palms back toward your hips. Slide your back knee in until you can plant your front foot down. Spread into your finger pads, tuck your back toes, lift your back knee, and as you inhale, sweep your right leg back and up. And you're welcome to stay here or stack the hip again, bend the knee. Turn your left fingertips more out to the left. Bring your right foot back behind you. Press into the toes. heel right over top of the toes, lifted high. Press the outer edge of your left foot down and lift your hips as high as you can, reaching your top arm behind you, or maybe cup your head with your hand. Wild thing, if you've moved to Urdhva Dhanurasana, that full back bend, go for it. Take another deep breath in, press into your left finger pads, so don't dump the weight into your wrist. When you're ready, press into your left hand again, flip yourself all the way back around, three-legged dog. Take a vinyasa if you like. You can even take a rest. Again, ankles pressing right to the mat. Roll over your toes. Adho Mukha Svanasana, deep breath in and a full breath out. Inhale, left leg lifts to the sky. Let's cross the left knee to the right upper arm. You can stay here, you can extend to fallen triangle. It looks like this. Or bring that knee into your chest, grab the outer edge of your left foot and kick your left foot to the top left corner of your mat as you roll your chest open. Use the pressing down of your left finger pads. Inhale, bring it all the way back up. So good. Wish I could see all of you doing it. Left knee to left upper arm. Stay here, chaturanga arms. Maybe you float it out, kundanyasana. Inhale, sweep it back up. Bring your knee in toward your chest. Keep rocking forward. Strong finger pads, strong back toes. Step through in the center. Warrior two, just for the breath. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, straighten your front leg. Heel toe your back foot in a step or two. Hinge at that left hip, so create a little more mobility there by lengthening this front thigh the best you can. Reach forward and then pivot the arms. You can use a block under your left hand if you need. Finding Trikonasana. Keep opening up through the shoulders. Outer left hip tucking under, inner right thigh rolling open. And preparing for Ardha Chandrasana, right hand to your right hip. And soften into that left knee. Feel free to use a block again. Don't think of the block as something that's making the pose easier but more accessible. As you step onto your left foot, raise that right leg and be active. So press out through your heel, draw your toes toward you. So use the mobility that you have in the joints. Start to spin your chest open, hip open. Maybe reach your right arm up. Stay here in this shape for just a couple of breaths and feel the stability as you use your toes. Press down through the inner edge of your left foot. Then you can start to bring your right knee in toward your chest as much as you need to grab the outer edge of your right foot. And then start to kick it back. There's so many joints in this particular pose being opened here. So you feel the strength of your hips, of your standing foot, of your knee, your strong standing knee, your bent right knee, opening up through the hips, turning through the torso to create more mobility in the spine, the top shoulder opening. Maybe you turn and look up. Beautiful. And then soften both knees as much as you need to release and bring both hands to the mat. Take your left thumb into your left hip crease and pull it back. Right thigh down. Tend your fingertips, lengthen your spine. Inhale. As you exhale, walk your hands toward your standing leg. And now wrap your left hand behind your standing calf. Lift your right leg a little higher. Inhale. And exhale brings you to bow forward over your front thigh. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. Flex your right foot. Lift your heel higher. And then both knees soften. Bring your right knee with you into your chest. Use the strong toes. Press down your left toes to stand all the way up and bring your right knee with you into your chest. Keep your foot flexed and active. Really important for this posture. Open up the hip and now cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Stand up nice and tall, hands to your heart. And keep the foot very active. So opening up through the hip, the knee, the ankle, and the toes. Hands to heart center. Start to sit down. Working toward this particular posture, standing pigeon or half chair pose, We're working Ekapada Galavasana. Get your elbows in front of the shin bone. Stay here, or tent your fingertips and hop your left foot back just a little bit so you create more space for the joints to open, especially the hip. Spread your fingertips wide, press into the finger pads. Hook the right toes around your left upper arm. Lean forward. That's the secret of this pose. It's not to compress and constrict the joints. It's actually to lean forward and create more space. So as you lean forward, you can start to float or extend the left toes or the left leg. Press into your finger pads. Let the elbows hug back. Hold for 3, 2, back. Steady yourself. Look down and bring your gaze with you as you stand up. And reach your arms over your head. Inhale. As you exhale, cross your right thigh over your left. Maybe hook the right toes behind your left calf. Square your hips. Inhale. Exhale, right arm underneath left arm. Cross at the elbows, maybe at the wrists. Skaradasana. Sit down into your hips. Bend your knees. Pull your hips and knees to center. As you lift your elbows up, try to push your fingers away and pull the elbows and knees away from each other. Create more space. Hold here for 3, 2, 1. Nest your ego. Elbows towards your knees. Hug in tight. And then release. Dakasana, airplane pose. Variation of warrior 3. Roll your right thigh down. And step back. Oh, some days you have it, my friends, some days you don't. Open up wide. Bring your hands to your hips. We'll take a twisting variation for this Prasarita Padottanasana, but let's get down toward the ground first. Inhale, lift your chest. As you exhale, fold. Bring your hands underneath the mat, halfway lift, and walk your right hand more to the center. Left hand comes to your left hip. Start to turn and rotate toward the left. Bring your left arm up to the sky and spin your hand around. Get that internal shoulder rotation as you wrap your hand behind you. Stay here, start to turn and twist. Maybe you want to go deeper, walking your right hand to your outer left ankle and pull yourself through. Take a full deep breath in and a full deep breath out. One more. Inhale to bring yourself back through center. Left palm under your face. Right hand to your right hip. Turn and twist. Look to the right. If you can, reach your right arm up. Spin your palm around, getting that internal shoulder rotation, and maybe wrap the hand around. So this creates some constriction. Again, that tourniquet type effect. So when we release out of this posture, all that synovial fluid coming to lubricate the joints. Stay here or walk your left hand to your outer right ankle, lengthen, and then fold, bow in, looking up toward the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, long breath out. If it's too much for the joints of your neck, you can look down. One more breath. As you inhale, unwind, halfway lift, and then walking your hands toward the front of your mat, spinning your left toes forward, lower your right knee down. Walk your hands on the inside of your front foot, lizard pose variation. Slide your right knee as far back as you can. If it feels better for you, you can untuck your toes. Turn your left toes out to the right. Flex your foot so you're protecting your knee and your ankle joint. Roll to the outer blade of your left foot. Stay here. You can always, oh, I forgot one little extra stretch here. Before we do, well, you can keep the foot like that, but walk your hands more forward and then maybe come down onto your forearms. I'm sure you were already doing that. Now, take your left arm up to the sky and then press your left hand into the inner left knee. Start to turn your chest open. So again, a lot of joints very active in this pose. So asking yourself how you can find more space in those joints, more ease, more sukha. And at the same time, that strength, that steer of strengthening the muscles, the ligaments, and the tendons. You're welcome to stay here. You might want to come back up onto your right hand, bend your left knee, so your right knee, reach back and grab the outer edge of your right foot and start to turn and twist. And if you have the space, maybe you come back down onto the right forearm, getting a beautiful thigh stretch to the front of the hip joint. Really working around all aspects of the hips today. Try to pull your right heel toward your bum. We'll slowly release. Come back onto your hands, heel toe your foot in. Tent your fingertips, lift your heart. Try to slide your right knee again as far back as you can so it's not directly underneath the right hip. And as you exhale, pull your hips back, straighten that front leg. This is Ardha Hanumanasana. You can stay here and lengthen the chest, start to fold forward. You can use blocks under your out of your top left hip, or maybe start to walk the left heel more forward, right knee more back. So the hip joint can be very limiting in this posture as well as the knee joint. So be careful with yourself, only go as far as feels good for you. As you center into this pose, take an inhale, lengthen your chest up, and as you exhale, bow in. Outer left hip pulling back, right thigh forward. Last round of breath. Keep your feet active. And slowly start to walk your hands back under your shoulders. Tuck your back toes to get that back knee in a little bit. Planting your left foot down. Spread your palms evenly and wide underneath your shoulders. Press into your finger pads. Tuck your back toes. As you inhale, sweep your left leg back and out. Stack your hip, bend your knee. Turn your right hand out to the right to protect your wrist. Let your left foot fall behind you. Stay high on your left toes. Get the heel right over top of your toes. Press the outer edge of your right foot down. Lift your hips higher. Reach. Maybe you hold your head with your hand. Use the right finger pads. Press them into the mat. Lift your chest higher. If you're moving into Urdhva Dhanurasana, that full back bend, try to straighten all of your joints. The knees, the arms, shoulders. Deep breath in and out. And when you're ready, press into your right hand, flip yourself back around. Take a vinyasa or a rest. Elbows still pointing back. One last extra chaturanga here. And all the way back, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Deep breath in. And a long breath out. And now look forward to the top of your mat. Walk yourself back a little bit so your feet are near the back of your mat. We're going to try to land on our bum with straight legs so your feet will reach the top of your mat. Your bum will be between where your hands are now. Come behind your toes, bend your knees a lot, look forward, and when you're ready, press into those strong fingers, bend your elbows back and hop through. Coming onto your seat. Take a full breath in and a long breath out. And we have time for just a couple of more poses. So I'm going to offer you a choice of a hip opener. So here are the choices. So you can take supine pigeon lying down on your back. We've done this pose already, standing, hugging, putting one ankle on top of your knee, so right on top of left and hugging in, and then we'll switch sides. If you feel like you could do double pigeon, you'll stay sitting up and you will cross your right ankle over your left thigh. Bring your left heel in toward you and come a little bit more forward. And you might stay here or working into fire log or double pigeon. Walking your left heel toward the right side of your mat. Start to stack your shins on top of each other. Press your fingers back behind you, lift your chest, and maybe you start to hinge forward. So this is a big opening for two important joints in the body, the hips and the knees. And again, if this is too much for you, you lie down onto your back and take the same pose on your back. And while we're in this pose, we're restricting the blood flow into the hips as well as into the knees and the ankles. And then when we release the pose,
There's lots of beautiful fresh blood and oxygen, all that synovial fluid coming back into the joint. So let's hold for a few more breaths. Just going to shift back just a little. Try to keep, especially your feet active if you're in this double pigeon variation. Push yourself up. If you're on your back, you just release, give your legs a little shake. And then we'll cross to the other side. So if you're on your back, now your left ankle will come on top of your right. If you're upright like me, cross your left over your right. Bend your right knee and shift your hips towards your heel. Tend your fingertips and lift your chest. And then you'll start to walk your right foot over to the left side. So your shin bones are stacked, your ankles are flexed. Big opening of kind of final flourish for the hips, the knees, the ankles. Take an inhale, lift your chest. And as you exhale, fold. You might find you're more open on one side than the other. And I recommend that if you do this pose to try to start with your tightest hip first. So the hip opening is whichever leg is on top. So in this case, it's the left side. If that's your tightest side, then always start with that side first. If you're really enjoying this hip opening, you can always do some extra pigeon a little bit later, or anything else that feels good. When you're ready, push yourself back up, release your legs. Give yourself a nice shake. Bend your knees, bring your feet to the top of your mat. Lift your chest, reach forward, take an inhale breath. And as you exhale, slowly lower down into your belly. One last hug of the knees into the chest. And if you'd like to take a minute or so for any last pose, it could be Viparita Karani, which is a beautiful way to soften the joints and let them be buoyant. Or Happy Baby pose. If you want to take your knees out wide and reach through and grab the outer edges of your feet and roll your sacrum to the mat. Or even a different inversion, plow, shoulder stand, headstand. Take as much time as you need in those poses if you want to take longer than a minute. And then when you're ready, you make your way into your final Shavasana. In addition to bringing mobility, flexibility, strength and stability, and more fluidity to the joints today, we were focusing on the idea of tranquility. A quiet place of awareness within that is always accessible no matter what the circumstances. A gentle, conscious breath can take you to this inner retreat and will reduce the noise of general life in an instant. I hope that you found this practice tranquil and that the rest of your day is beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me. Feel free to look on YouTube, find any of my classes, and enjoy them as much as you can during this time when we can all use a little more tranquility. Namaste.